Oh my god, hi. Oh my god, hi. How are you? How are you? I'm a bit sleepy. I woke up like 4 hours ago, but still, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I can be actually. I woke up at 7:30. Who cares? Hi. Hi, all of you down there. I'm gonna eat you. Hang on. Oh, froze for a second. That scared me. Blink blonk. I just eat everything, don't I? I wish I did. I'm not hungry, but anyway, I don't know. Okay. Fishy Friday. Let's go. We're reading a book. We are reading a book. Gluttony. Yes. My main sin, gluttony. Slay. Okay. Guess what? We're on chapter 99. We're on chapter 99 and it's called Fishy Punishment. And what happened last time is that Liu got kidnapped. Well, he got fishnapped. Except he was a human at the. I think. Was he fully human or not? I don't know. I don't remember. But he got tricked because he's stupid. But we love him anyway. Fishnapped. Oh no. Oh yes, I have tea. It's warming. It's warming down. It's cooling down. But yeah, we're just gonna take it easy today. I would like to preface this with this is a live stream. Wow, that's crazy. Who could ever imagine it? This is a live stream. And this is more of a reading reaction stream than an audiobook. It is not an audiobook. I am reading it live. Okay. For some reason my wrist really hurts today. I need to really like not do anything to my wrist today. I need to wear my wrist brace wherever that is. But yeah. If you were on my audiobook, well, let's just say I'm getting a refund. Fair. I have to edit out so much. Okay. Okay, one last yawn. Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? Okay. Chapter 99, page 227. Oh boy, fishy punishment. Liu was safe for now as long as he stayed in the river, but he couldn't wait for Prince Jing to rescue him. If the bandits suddenly decided to deal with him, then it would be too late. At least now he knew Dabao and the others weren't in the bandits' hands. Plus, the bandits that caught him didn't know who he was, so they couldn't use him to threaten Prince Jing. Liu comforted himself with a silver lining, forcing himself to calm down a bit and consider the situation carefully. He naturally wanted to escape. Manmers had nimble legs and feet. What if he made a break for it while the bandits were distracted? Oh my god, he was a manmer. He had the sheet covering his face. I forgot that. I forgot that. Oh no. What if he made a break for it while the bandits were distracted? As he was thinking, a bandit came over and Liu did his best to hide in the water. When the bandit saw him, he swore a bit and reached for Liu. Liu didn't want to be caught, so he kicked out forcefully and managed to connect with the bandit's arm. The bandit, hit unexpectedly, became furious and drew out a sharp knife he was carrying. Oh no, Liu! Liu! Liu started to regret not bringing a weapon with him when he left. He'd been too worried about the chaos outside and didn't think he'd be caught by the bandits. And as a manmer, he couldn't hold anything anyway. It would be nice if he had his tail. He'd never wished for a tail so much. His legs were still a bit weaker than a tail, and though the scales on his body provided some protection, he wasn't sure if they'd be able to withstand a knife. And his short fins couldn't even reach far enough to slap people. As soon as he thought that, at this critical moment, his body changed. He'd been a manmer just now, but his lower body suddenly felt light, as if he had his flowing tail. Liu gently flicked it to confirm the feeling. His tail really was there. Before he'd stayed one or the other for a whole day, but he didn't think that on the third day the mission would change up the rhythm like this. Great timing! Let's handle the bandits first. The bandit slashed at Liu, but Liu deftly hid in the water. When he couldn't catch them, the bandit rushed into the river angrily. When he couldn't catch him, the bandit rushed into the river angrily, and Liu hid his tail in a dark spot to trip him, making the bandit fall into the water. Before he could get up, Liu lifted his tail up high and slapped it down on the bandit's forehead. The bandit didn't even have time to make a noise before he was knocked unconscious. I'm sorry, this reads so much like one of my fucking... Oh no. This is like you're playing with your friends on the playground and you're like, let's play mermaids, okay? And then these people try to come and kidnap us and then oh, just me? Okay. Okay. And then we have to fight them all and then we go knock them unconscious. Okay. Liu quickly dragged an unconscious bandit behind a rock. If another bandit came to check on him alone, he could deal with him. But if several came at once, he was just a single fish with a single tail and probably wouldn't be able to handle all of them. What's more, his tail could knock a bandit unconscious, but he couldn't escape with it. His goal was still to escape. Wait. Liu had just thought about the advantage of legs when he realized his body had changed again. His tail, once more, turned into legs. It was going to change that frequently? When Liu was calm, he was quite clever. He started to analyze all the times he'd transformed today. At first, he turned into a manwar when he was impatient to run outside to see if Daba was crying. The second time, he turned into a merman when the urge to beat the bandits was strong. Just now, he thought about running away with his legs and turned into a manwar. So, could he transform at will on the last day? Then, he really wanted to transform into a human. Liu waited for a long time, but nothing changed. His fins were still short and stubby, unable to hold or grasp. It looked like he'd been wrong then. When he first started the mission, he had tried turning into a human, but it didn't work. Since the fish scamming system had essentially banned the skill, it wouldn't just let him turn into a human so easily, right? If he couldn't turn completely into a human, then what about a fish? This time it was just a casual thought, but his line of sight suddenly dropped, and his height shrank. Whoa, it seems like he couldn't just absently think about turning into a fish, because he really would turn back into a fish. This fish form was still the original size, too. Liu couldn't believe his luck. The cloth and strips... What? Strips? Yeah, okay. The cloth and strips used to cover his body scattered and fell, and he escaped from them easily. Turning into a fish was the best-case scenario right now. Liu hid in the aquatic plants and coldly observed the bandits. There was no way the bandits would guess that their hostage had turned into a fish and hidden in the water. They'd only think that their hostage had somehow escaped. The bandits talked loudly among themselves for a bit, but they finally noticed that their comrade, who'd gone to check on the hostage, hadn't returned for some time. They made their way over, loud and cursing, only to see him lying in the river. The cloth and strips that had been wrapped around the hostage were all still there, but the hostage himself was gone. What happened? Where'd the hostage go? An ill-tempered bandit pulled up the unconscious man and slapped him a few times. The bandit woke up, his eyes unfocused. He obviously hadn't seen a thing when he was knocked unconscious by Liu's tail. What are you standing around for? Chase after him! Someone shouted, and the bandits all rushed out to find the hostage. Liu held his breath and waited for a bit. One bandit, with his face covered, didn't leave with the rest. Instead, he walked to the riverbank and searched around, but didn't find anything. He didn't give up, though. He squatted and stuck his hand in the river. Liu tried to avoid his wandering hand and inadvertently got a look at it. Oh my god, what is going on? Sorry, I'm a little bit distracted today. What? Liu was tried to avoid his wandering hand, and innovatively he didn't give all these squad the second hand of the river. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Okay. Liu is still a fish. The bandit is searching for him. Okay, I see. There was a scar on the man's hand that looked a lot like an animal bite. The man didn't find anything in the river. Just as he was about to stand up, a racket started coming from the rundown temple. The bandits, who had run out before, came running back, shouting in panic. Tactician, it's not looking good. Prince Jing is on the way over. So this was the tactician. Liu swung his tail excitedly. His Highness had come so quickly to save him. As soon as the bandits finished speaking, Prince Jing broke into the temple, covered in blood. Oh, mama! A bandit gritted his teeth and rushed forward with a knife, but was immediately cut down by Prince Jing's sword. Prince Jing had a murderous aura about him, and his eyes were terrifying. He cut down anyone in his way, and very soon the bandits had all fallen. Only the tactician was left standing. He slowly raised his hand. Liu thought he was going to surrender, but without warning, quick as a flash, he threw a smoke bomb. Your Highness, watch out! Liu was fearful. The smoke could render one unconscious. He'd suffered from it once before, and was afraid that Prince Jing would too. Luckily, Prince Jing reacted quickly and knocked the smoke bomb away with his sword. The tactician drew his sword and stepped forward to battle with Prince Jing. Prince Jing fought for a while, but he couldn't gain the upper hand, which made Liu anxious. Why had Prince Jing come to save him without any of his guards? The tactician parried Prince Jing's sword with his own, and when he got closer, threw a handful of white powder at him. This bastard, how shameless! Liu was so anxious that he wanted to turn into a manmer and run into this disgraceful man to kill him. Prince Jing swayed a bit and lifted his hand to cover his eyes. He seemed to have fallen for the trick. Oh, okay. I thought he was covering his eyes for a different reason. The tactician coldly chuckled, knocking Prince Jing's sword aside, and then made a strange move to stab Prince Jing's calf. But although Prince Jing shouldn't have been able to see anything, in one fluid motion he dodged cleanly, swerved beneath the tactician, pulled out a dagger from his sleeve, and stabbed it into the man's back. It is so sexy right now. Oh my god. Every move was accurate and merciless. The tactician's plot and attempt to stab Prince Jing in the leg, and Prince Jing's dodge and counterattack all happened in a split second. I would cover my eyes if there's a merman around, cause if I see him, he's gonna... Okay. Okay. You didn't. The tactician met Prince Jing's dark eyes and suddenly came to his senses, but before he could finish his sentence, Prince Jing twisted the dagger and sent him to meet his maker. Oh. Liu had transformed into a manmer again. He stood up from the river and rushed over like a cannonball to save his husband, only to find that Prince Jing was fine, and had even killed the tactician already. Prince Jing had noticed him, though. With his lips pursed, he strode over to him, getting faster with each step. Your Highness. Liu closed his eyes instinctively. He wasn't afraid of Prince Jing because he'd killed the bandits. He was afraid that Prince Jing was mad at him. Stupid bitch. Liu had impulsively left the secret residence. Prince Jing must have gone through a lot to find him. When he saw Prince Jing earlier, he noticed that Prince Jing's face was pale, the corner of his eyes were red, and he looked furious. Prince Jing had never hit him before, but Liu knew that he'd crossed the line this time. What is he gonna do to you? Kiss you to death? You think he'd ever be mad? Okay. Liu knew he was in the wrong. He turned into a merman again to apologize. Your Highness, I'm sorry. But he wasn't used to standing on his tail and almost collapsed to the ground. None of his forms were what he wanted, and he felt a bit frustrated. Prince Jing reached a hand to help him up, then hugged him, despite everything. Liu leaned on his shoulder, sniffled, and said apologetically, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have left. But he really hadn't been able to ignore the children's cries. He was a father now, and it was a father's instinct. Even if he knew logically that he should trust Prince Jing and that it was more likely a scheme by the bandits, he couldn't just let it go. Sometimes, logic couldn't control emotions. Prince Jing and his 4 children were his weak spot, and the kind he would go crazy for, the kind where he only realized how ridiculous he was being after his impulsiveness passed. But if he had to do it again, he would make the same decision. Your Highness, it was my fault. You can punish me. Oh. What, Leo? Domestic violence was no good, but Leo thought he deserved it. This guy. Yeah, domestic violence is bad, but you know what? This time. This guy. Oh my god. Oh my god. I love him. He's so stupid. Prince Jing shook his head, hugged him with reddened eyes, and shoved something into his hand. Liu looked at it. It was the charm Prince Jing had given to him before. When the bandits kidnapped him, the charm had fallen to the ground, and Prince Jing found it. Liu gazed at into Prince Jing's reddened eyes and lowered his own, embarrassed. Prince Jing looked at him, suddenly took his hand and wrote on his palm. It's not your fault. It's mine. I was late. No, Liu hurriedly waved his hands. Your Highness came in time to save me. It was my fault. It was my fault that I didn't come back sooner and made you worry. It was my fault, Prince Jing wrote. Your Highness, let's not fight, okay? Liu sniffled emotionally. Why didn't you come back? Same reason as you. Prince Jing's lips turned up in a small curve. Liu blinked and stared at him. After a moment, he understood. Was Prince Jing late because he also thought the bandits had captured Dabao, and he had to go deal with them? Your Highness, do you always lose control of your emotions and get carried away? Liu asked. Prince Jing nodded. Liu thought to himself, then we really did make the same mistake. With Prince Jing's explanation, Liu felt a lot better. In the future, trust me, I'll take care of it, Prince Jing wrote. Liu smiled and nodded. Okay. Prince Jing didn't mention that he'd run into the head of the bandits and had a fight to the death. The golden swaddled, what? Why? The golden swaddle in the bandit's arms hadn't tricked him, but when he returned to the residence, he discovered that Xiao Yu was gone. When he found the charm later, he realized that Xiao Yu had been knocked unconscious and kidnapped by the bandits. In that moment, he felt like he'd fallen into hell. Though he seemed calm, he started killing immediately. All the bandits who tormented Xiao Yu needed to die. He didn't know how much longer he would have gone on killing if he hadn't found Xiao Yu. Only when he saw Xiao Yu with his own eyes did the anger in his heart start to dissipate. He really could understand the feeling of losing control that Xiao Yu described. When they finished talking, Prince Jing took off his outer robe, wrapped it around Liu, covering his fishtail, and picked him up. Everything was ready. The guards waiting outside of the run-down temple were now allowed inside to deal with the rest of the bandits. Prince Jing had entered the temple alone, with the guards outside tasked with killing any bandits that escaped. Oh shit! I love this guy. While the guards were busy with their task, Liu and Prince Jing secretly returned to their original residence. Liu and Prince Jing had just begun to watch the manor from a distance when Wang Ji spotted Prince Jing and intended to run over, but Prince Jing held out his hand to stop him while protecting Liu with his other hand. Wang Ji guessed that they were in the middle of something, so he knew better than to disturb them. In their room, Yeshushu, who was so bored he almost started growing grass on his head, was playing with the children. Ye Qinghuan let Sibao sit on his lap, and Erbao and Sanbao lay on his back while they all made faces at Dabao. Cute! Oh, I'm gonna kill myself. They're so cute. Yeshizu had sworn to make the serious, chubby little child laugh out loud, but the other three children started laughing first. Dabo thought human life was very difficult and that he would rather be a fish. He doesn't like him. He really doesn't like him. Don't worry. Prince Jing held Liu's hand. Liu understood what he meant. Prince Jing wanted him to see that the children were fine. He nodded, signaling that he understood. After they watched the children for a bit, Prince Jing looked at Liu and raised his hand. Was he finally going to be punished? Liu bit his lip and didn't dodge. Prince Jing's hand came down and patted his head softly. Your Highness? Liu looked at him, confused. With the punishment over, Prince Jing curled his lips into a smile. Now, they still had to overcome the tribulation. See, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? That's the end of the chapter, by the way. What did I tell you? Of course he's not gonna hit him. Of course he's not. Oh my god. Stupidly, you don't know your husband at all. Oh, how do you not know him? Maybe he's like traumatized from his past. I don't want to think about that. That'll make me too sad. That'll make me way too sad. No, I mean, we know he is dumb enough to have gotten beaten a couple times in his lifetime. I'm sure. But not domestic violence. Come on, man. Come on, man. Okay. Chapter 100. Chapter 100. Protecting the pet fish. Yippee! Yippee! So dumb. Liu wasn't actually sure how the mission was going. On one hand, the bandits came suddenly, and he rushed out in the middle, not caring about anything else. He'd only barely covered himself up, so what would he have done if someone saw him? But at the time, he couldn't care less. On the other hand, there had been no notifications from the system. From his past experience, this meant the mission was still in progress, and that he probably hadn't failed yet. The system had told him before that if he failed a main mission, he would turn into fish bones and fish ash. Since he could still transform into a manmer and merman whenever he wanted, and was fine, well, no news was good news. Prince Jing put the charm around Liu's neck again and guarded him for the next couple of hours. During this time, Liu clung to him like an octopus, determined that even if the Heavenly Emperor came knocking, he wouldn't be tricked again. Prince Jing had only punished him by patting his head, which made him even more embarrassed. If it hadn't been for him, Prince Jing would have been able to kill all the bandits in a jiffy. He wanted to make up for all the worry and burden he'd put on Prince Jing's shoulders. Oh right, Your Highness, don't forget to look into that tactician. Liu had heard a lot about the tactician from the bandits, other than the fact that his face was always covered with his name, that his face was always covered and his name was a mystery. The tactician also strategically used children and golden swaddles as bait, which was different from the bandits' usual recklessness. He felt that the tactician was probably targeting him and Prince Jing. I wonder who it could possibly be. It was well known at the western border that Prince Jing had just gotten 4 little gongzi, and that the golden swaddle was only for Dabao. Ordinary people wouldn't use such a color, and it was easy to find out this information if one was interested. The tactician must have asked around beforehand. Sorry, I'm still thinking about baby Dabao just being so unimpressed with Yeshisu. It's so stupid. Liu's suspicion was logical. Prince Jing had thought the same thing. The bandits had been almost completely wiped out from this fight, and the few that were left were the ones who hadn't ventured out. Prince Jing ordered his guards to torture and interrogate them to find out who the tactician was. Where's your kitty? Why don't you make one? The fuck? You scroll down, and then in stream avatars you can choose whichever you want. I'm pretty sure there's one like your kitty. But right now you look like a naked kitty. I don't even know what the fuck that is. What even is that? You literally are a naked kitty. Crazy. Where was I? Where was I? You distracted me. Get your other cat then. Oh my god. Really wiped out this fight adventure happening on his guards. Okay. The tactician felt eerily familiar. Throwing white powder at him and then attacking his leg when he thought he was blinded seemed unnecessary, but in the past Prince Jing had always kept a dagger hidden in his boot in case of emergencies. He'd brought a dagger this time as well, but he'd placed it in his sleeve during his killing rampage. It was this dagger that he ended up counterattacking with. The tactician had attacked the spot where he usually kept daggers. Was he trying to stop him from pulling it out? In any case, the tactician must have been somewhat familiar with him, otherwise he wouldn't have used a baby as bait. But how did he know where the dagger should have been hidden? Apart from this time, he'd only used a dagger in public once before, during an assassination attempt, where his eyes were affected, after which he was saved by Xiao Yu. What? No way! It was precisely because of that experience that Prince Jing had become more careful when fighting in close quarters. He had been able to avoid the smoke bomb in time, and even pretended his eyes were injured. The tactician had used powder too, just like before. Since he also knew that Prince Jing had a habit of hiding daggers, Prince Jing had reason to believe that the tactician was the one who'd attacked him that night. Your Highness, I saw by accident that the tactician had a scar that looked like an animal bite on his hand. Liu had a piece of evidence. He didn't know if it was useful, but he might as well say it since he remembered it. As soon as Liu mentioned it, Prince Jing immediately remembered that his attacker at the palace had kept covering his hand as if he was injured. Why are you still not changed from the naked cat? I don't understand this. There's literally a tuxedo cat. I'm pretty sure there's a tuxedo cat. You can change that. This bitch doesn't know how to do it. You know what will be injured after okay. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Prince Jing wrote down the events of that day. Liu hadn't realized that there were so many details behind Prince Jing's eye injury. Your Highness, are you thinking that the tactician is the same one who attacked you that day? Liu asked, mulling it over. Prince Jing nodded. On the western border, only his enemies were the bandits. The tactician had only come to the western border a short while ago and wasn't previously a bandit. That meant he must be from the capital. Liu thought about the scars on the man's hand and the other events of the day Prince Jing's eyes were injured. It couldn't be a coincidence, right? Give you a God. Without me? Oh my god, you're so rude. I can't believe this bitch. Your Highness, remember the day Zhang Feng and I encountered a masked man? A masked man. The one that tried to poison the fish food. Zhang Feng bit him on the hand. When Liu mentioned Zhang Feng, Prince Jing visibly paused before he realized that Liu was talking about his experience as a fish, and that Zhang Feng was Ye Qinghuan's dog. Hearing Xiao Yu suddenly call out another name so familiarly had made Prince Jing a little uncomfortable, but he soon managed to turn his attention back to business. This guy. Is one of the expired ones? What? Why? God. Ew, nasty. That's gotta taste extra gross. Back to business. The person that poisoned the food had been bitten by Ye Qinghuan's dog, and the tactician had a scar from an animal bite on his hand. It matched. The tactician was from the capital and had run into both of them long ago, as the same person who poisoned the fish food and then turned around to attack him. Is it the second prince? Liu asked cautiously. When the masked man poisoned the fish food, the second prince had been plotting against the house of Chang'an and had asked someone to buy arsenic. Prince Jing and Wang Gongong had thus concluded that the prisoner was sent by the second prince, who wanted to vent his anger. Back then, the second prince had been under the most suspicion, but the situation was different now. After Prince Jing had dealt with him, the second prince was left confused and mentally broken. How could a person who was out of the running for such a long time still have an accomplice? And for it to be the same masked poisoner? Poisoner. It didn't make sense. Prince Jing had someone in the second prince's residence keeping an eye on him, and he knew exactly what state Mu Tianzhao was in, so it couldn't be him. That only left one possibility that they hadn't thought of before. That the poisoner had never been sent by the second prince in the first place, and the second prince had only taken the blame for the event. If it wasn't the second prince, it could only be the third or sixth prince. The detective's over here. I have a question. Do gummies go bad, or do they just have less potency? That is my question. Okay. Moving on. In the past, Prince Jing might have suspected the third prince, but right now, it was hard for the third prince to even protect himself. The emperor had found out about someone passing messages between the western border and the capital under the third prince's name, and the third prince had suffered for it. Wasn't it quite similar to the way the second prince had been framed? Prince Jing thought for a while, and then wrote a 6 that bled through the paper. Oh, he's angry. Xiao Yu had been right. Mu Tianzhao was his biggest enemy, and he had been secretly plotting against him for a long time. So it was him, Liu sighed lightly. Everything could be explained if the devious sixth prince was behind it. The tactician was loyal to the sixth prince. The sixth prince was the only person with time to come out to the west to do something like this. Before, the sixth prince had hidden behind the third prince, and before that it had been the second prince. If he made a move, nobody would think of this unwanted, invisible person. Now that the sixth prince got rid of the third prince and became the emperor's only adult prince in the capital, he was in the limelight at court, but he was also no longer hidden. He had no shield anymore. Now that he knew it was the sixth prince's doing, Prince Jing wasn't going to hold back. A month longer, the people at Prince Jing's manor in the capital received a secret letter from Wang Gongong. There was only one line on the letter. Teach him a little lesson. Oh, shit. They would have to find out who him was through other means. That was how secrets were kept in Prince Jing's manor. These people would follow Prince Jing through hell and high water, but they'd been bored guarding the huge manor. Now that they finally had an order from their master, they immediately flew into action. Soon afterwards, Zhang Jing from the Ministry of Works reported to the emperor that the sixth prince had taken bribes while he was in charge of repairs for Zhongshui Palace and switched out quality materials for inferior ones. Mu Tianzhao's expression twisted as he denied it, saying he was just following regulations. Zhang Jing, filled with righteous indignation, countered him and took out the original blueprints of Zhongshui Palace. Goodness gracious. Okay, my sound you finally changed. My sound alerts don't work, but that's how it goes, right? I'm not on that site. I don't know. Oh well, so sad for you. Now your key. Good job. The Zhongshui Palace that the sixth prince had renovated looked the same, but it was clear that the wood used didn't match the plans. Instead, second-grade wood had been used, even for the beams. The emperor was extremely shocked. He immediately ordered the removal of the beams from Zhongshui Palace for examination and called upon more than a dozen carpenters to inspect it. He was worried that someone might even be framing the sixth prince, so he chose the carpenters himself. But the carpenters confirmed that the wood didn't match the original plans. In actuality, it wasn't the first time the repairs had differed from the blueprints. It could be explained logically if need be, but unfortunately, the numbers the sixth prince had reported to the emperor and the Ministry of Revenue were based on top quality wood. The accounts had one price and reality had another. So where had the difference disappeared to? As the supervisor of the project, the sixth prince had to have seen what wood was being used. That was part of his responsibility. He simply had no leg to stand on. He'd just gotten married a month ago. Normally, a prince's wedding was held by the Ministry of Rites. The only exception was Prince Jing, who was in the western border and had the emperor's permission to hold his own wedding. All the other princes' weddings were carried out by the Ministry of Rites, and they were all quite similar. But it was said that the sixth prince had given his fiancée, Marcus Dingbei's daughter, quite a few more gifts than usual, which were all added to her dowry and carried to the sixth prince's manor. Marcus Dingbei. That's kind of a silly name, I'm not gonna lie. Loved to show off, and had already made a ruckus about the gifts from his future son-in-law, the prince. Anyone with eyes could see which gifts were the sixth prince's. Gold and silver jewelry were considered inconspicuous among the pearls, agate, coral, jade, and ivory, which all came in boxes of 2 or more. There were countless ancient books, and paintings as well, even though the sixth prince had claimed that he couldn't even prepare a decent gift for the emperor's birthday. And that was the problem. How could the sixth prince get his hands on so much money within a single year? With the prince's status and salary, he definitely wouldn't be able to afford all this. The sixth prince's mother was a palace maid, and her family was poor. That was why he'd always been so poor in the past. One second. I'm getting notifications. Oh my god. Okay. I don't need to reply to that yet. Either he'd lied to the emperor during his birthday, or the money came from dishonest means. Some court officials had suspected him before, but the sixth prince was the only adult prince by the emperor's side now, and his status had risen rapidly, so these officials weren't inclined to offend the possible future emperor. Even Zhang Jing had to think twice before exposing him after he received evidence that the sixth prince had accepted bribes. Zhang Jing was extremely familiar with the sixth prince's job in the Ministry of Works. When he learned that the wood used for renovating Zhongshui Palace was different from the wood in the plans that the sixth prince had never mentioned such a thing, he knew something was fishy. Sorry. It didn't take much thought to work out who benefited from this. Zhang Jing ordered people to follow the servants of the sixth prince, and then remembered that when Zhongshui Palace was being renovated, the sixth prince had sent servants to pawn off some rosewood boxes. Zhang Jing put in a lot of effort to retrieve them, only to find that they were heirlooms from the imperial merchant who was in charge of wood. That showed where the sixth prince's money was coming from. Zhang Jing presented the pawned tickets and the pawned heirlooms. as evidence. The emperor interrogated the Sixth Prince, and the Sixth Prince insisted that his confidant had done it behind his back. He said that his confidant had taken the money for himself, deceived him while he was in charge of the project, and substituted the good wood, same sound, what? Good wood, with the bad. The Sixth Prince didn't suspect him because he trusted him. All in all, he managed to push the blame onto someone else completely. The Emperor's expression remained icy cold as he stared at the Sixth Prince. The Sixth Prince felt like he had nowhere to hide under the Emperor's piercing gaze, but he could only grit his teeth and continue to act innocent. The Emperor finally accepted the Sixth Prince's explanation, but because of this, everyone around the Sixth Prince was replaced. That was another story, though. Finally, we're done with that. I'm sorry, I'm so bored of talking about... Like, I know it's important, but I'm so bored of talking about the other princes. I just want to get back to this fishy madness. Liu was finally at the stage of protecting the pet fish. The long-awaited system of notification sounded, but instead of notifying him whether the mission was complete or not, it asked him to enter the system and check himself. It was a little different from how the fish scamming system usually worked, so Liu felt a bit anxious. He was sort of scared that he'd failed this mission. After making a brief explanation to Prince Jing, Liu entered the system at once. The main mission, postpartum care, was still lit up, and the protecting the fish step was followed by color-changing small squares that would determine the final outcome. So this step also required assessment? This mission was for the Tyrant to protect his pet fish, the system explained. If the transforming pet fish was found by others, then it would be a fail. I covered myself so they didn't see my real appearance, Liu replied. It shouldn't be counted as being discovered, right? It doesn't count, but there were 2 bandits who were killed by the Tyrant after they saw the user's merman form. The mission can't be classified as a success or a failure. It can only be reassessed based on the Tyrant's actions. Huh? He's literally fine. They're dead. It doesn't matter. God, stupid bitch. So dangerous. Liu breathed a sigh of relief. Period. Liu breathed... Oh my god. Liu breathed a sigh of relief. Thankfully, it didn't count as a failure. He had been assessed several times before, and Prince Jing always did great. There shouldn't be a problem this time either. Liu stared intently at the small square that would indicate the results. Green meant success, red meant failure. He remembered that the square had turned rainbow-colored once. What would it be this time? Huh? The little square changed colors faster and faster until it suddenly stopped. It was yellow. This was such an unexpected color. Thinking about what he and Prince Jing had done during the mission, Liu couldn't help but complain. Did the system think he and Prince Jing were too horny? Literally says that, and that's the end of the chapter. That's the end of the chapter. That has a footnote. In Chinese, yellow is a euphemism for pornographic material. An erotic book might be referred to as a yellow book. So like a lemon? That's crazy. Oh my god. Okay, that's the end of the chapter. I'm gonna... Let's see. Do I have enough tea for now? I think I have enough tea for now. I think we can just continue, honestly. I don't know if we need to do a break. I don't know if we need to do a little break, unless we want to. Unless we want to stretch a little. Ugh. Ow. I think I pulled something too much. Okay. I'm fine. My back hurts a normal amount. I've been reading number 6 off stream, but I'm uploading it onto my YouTube. And I think I've been doing better with reading now because of that. You know, it's like practice. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling all right. Are you feeling all right? Okay. Okay. Just a little more stretching. And you get the blood pumping, you know? Pump up the jam, pump it up while the beat is pumping and your feet are stomping. Pump it up a little more, get your blood going on the dance floor. I think that's how it goes. Okay. T. Check on dog. How you doing, dog? He's doing fine. Oh, he's so cute. Oh, don't yawn at me. Oh, he's so cute. He sticks out his little tongue. I could cry. Okay. Chapter 101. Fish calling his name. Calling out your name. This is great. This is great. This is great. Is there more horny in this or what? Oh boy. Let's do it. Fish calling his name. Page 240. I can never do math. It's literally one number above. 247. The system could hear Liu's thoughts and was rendered speechless for a moment because of the user's derailment. Yellow means a partial pass, the system corrected. Otherwise, the user might imagine some strange thing on his own. Huh? The tyrant used excessive violence, but it was to save the pet fish. Since the system cannot deny the tyrant's protection of the pet fish, that is the result of the assessment. You watched the number 6 video? Yay! There's gonna be more. Sorry, I keep, you know, this is a live stream. We chat a bit. But number 6 is very fun so far. It's so, oh my god, you don't even know yet because they're not up yet, but oh my god, I read 2 more chapters, it's so good. It's so good. Okay, we're fine. Fish. It was as if this was a test. Prince Jing had answered well at first, but accidentally spilled ink on the paper. Liu had expected that the system would balance the pros and cons, but instead, to his surprise, the system simply disregarded the part of the paper with ink on it, and just graded what was left. What? Paper? What is going on? I'm sorry, what is going on? It was as if it was spelled. Oh, it's a metaphor. Never mind. It's a metaphor. It's not. I'm reading too literally. I was falling on my chair like someone saw. Yeah, I'm so excited to be reading it. It's bringing back so much nostalgia. Okay. It's a metaphor. Prince Jing was actually the one who made the system, wasn't he? Why was the system always giving him a pass? Damn autistic people and metaphors. That was for real. Like, I did not recognize it. But thankfully, a partial pass was still a pass. Yes, that's true, the system agreed. However, the reward will also be affected, and you can only receive part of it. User, please accept the reward. Bitch. Protecting the pet fish was the last step. Oh, hang on. I'm having a vertigo attack. One moment, let it pass. One moment. Ooh, I don't want to puke on stream. Yippee! Okay, I need to take off my sweater because I get hot flashes when I have vertigo attacks, and that does not make it any better. Alright, we're fine. This happens. It just happens. Nothing to be worried about. Okay. My head's screwed on again. We're fine. Where were we? Protecting the pet fish was the last step of postpartum care. The system tried to get him to keep him guessing by having the reward appear as a large mystery box. Liu had been assuming he would be able to turn into a human now, but the reward seemed different from the time he had imagined. What would a partial reward be? Could it be that he would turn back into a half human, half fish? Then he might as well continue being a fish. The system comforted him, saying, "Please relax, user." Liu accepted the reward cautiously, expecting to be scammed. A dazzling white light enveloped him. When it dissipated, 2 new scales appeared next to the jade scale that allowed him to transform into a human. Oh my god. I just read that. Liu glanced at the description. The 2 new skills were turn into a man-mer, turn into a merman. He paid special attention to the duration of all his skills. The duration had also changed. It was now 24 hours, a whole day. It could be used once a day and could also be cancelled. The addition of the 2 new skills meant that the system had given him the ability to transform into different forms. He could transform as he needed, and even though he hadn't turned fully back into a human, transforming once a day for an entire day was basically the same as being fully human again, as long as there weren't any accidents. As for the other forms, he could turn into a fish to avoid danger, and since the man-mer and merman forms wouldn't be used daily, he could have fun with them as in the privacy of his own room. A merman was a different type of flavor, after all. He wanted to try it out again. A different type of flavor. Leo felt that these new skills were somewhat similar to the... Okay. Hang on. I need to reset my brain. I also have to pee. I also have to go to the bathroom. I'm gonna be right back. This is distracting me, so I'm gonna be right back anyway. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay. Where were we? Don't do that. Don't do that on a reading stream. That is stupid. He wanted to try it out again. That's where we left off. Oh, this guy. Leo felt that these new skills were somewhat similar to the way he'd continuously changed forms on the 3rd day of the Protecting the Pet Fish mission. During the mission, though, he changed forms too easily, and he'd almost lost control of it. The new skills required him to choose to press the jade scales to use them, which was much more reliable than changing at will. Plus, the jade scales could only be used if Liu was the one to press them. Even though Prince Jin could see them, the skill wouldn't be triggered if he did it. To anyone else, it was basically a tattoo. 2 new skills and a change to the duration of the transformation were the first part of the mystery box rewards. The mystery box had a second set of rewards, represented by a cute fish-shaped symbol. Oh boy. After he collected the first batch of rewards, Liu found that other than the main quest and side quest categories, there was another fish children status that had appeared. What was this for? Does it have to do with Dabao and the others? Liu asked curiously. Though the children were considered part of Liu's team after they hatched, Liu hadn't experienced any benefits of being on a team. The children were just a few simple fish-shaped symbols, and Liu suspected that these were just decorations. Since there was now a fish children status, the system asked him to check it out. When it expanded, there were 4 fish children symbols. Liu thought about it for a moment, then pressed the golden symbol that represented Dabao. A transparent box popped up, showing Dabao sleeping as Wang Gong placed a small blanket on him. What's this? Liu's little heart was pounding, and he happily clicked on Sibao. The fish babies were usually doing the same thing at the same time. Since Dabao was sleeping, so was Sibao. But Sibao was sleeping on Ye Qinghuan's stomach, and Erbao and Sambao next to him. The three children and Ye Qinghwan were fast asleep. They're so cute. Oh, they're so cute. Sabal was soundly sleeping, his mouth opening and closing repeatedly. He probably still thought he was a fish and was imagining blowing a bubble. I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this. Liu checked on the fish children one by one. He couldn't look away. The system took some time to explain. The user can check the current status of the young fish here. It only works with the one on your team and can be used up to 3 times a day for each young fish. Liu's eyes lit up with excitement. Wasn't this the fish scamming system's version of a baby monitor? One where you can see the fish babies? He'd fallen into the bandits' trap because he couldn't ascertain the children's safety and acted impulsively. In the end, it was because communication in ancient times was inconvenient. Really, the best you could do was shout. If it could be like the modern world he came from, with well-developed communication tools like a phone, where one could make a quick phone call to see if the children were safe, how could those criminals have taken advantage of him? Okay, to be fair though, that was a real baby in this world. Just because it wasn't his baby doesn't mean it wasn't a real baby. It's still a baby. He still saved a baby. So, good on you, Liu. Okay. Though the system hadn't rewarded him with a phone, it gave him the opportunity to see his children whenever he wanted to. Even if there were only 3 chances a day for each child, it was the best reward for a fish father who often worried about his children. Many thanks, system. From the bottom of his heart, Liu was grateful. However, the system had more to say. User, postpartum care is only partially completed. This was supposed to be the last of the main missions, but since it was only partially completed, the requirements for closing out the main line have not been met. After the system's assessment, a new main line of missions will be added to make up for it. The rewards that the user was not able to obtain can also be obtained after completing a new main mission. The new main missions. An ad. Okay, let that run. Let that run for a second. 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. You. Aren't I so generous? Aren't I so generous? I just hate ads. Honestly, this is all. I do this out of spite for ads. I fucking hate ads. Okay. Anyway. He really wanted to take back his thanks. He thought he thought he would be able to become human after completing these missions and could finally escape the system, but he still had to complete Moi Pet System missions. No matter what form you're in, the user is a user. This will definitely be the last main quest line. After completing these missions, there will be no more. The user can choose a side mission to complete as required, and failing the side mission will have no negative consequences. Okay, that sounded pretty good, actually. Liu wanted to be rid of the system because he didn't want to complete missions all the time and worry about failing them. If he could just do missions at his leisure in the future, then it didn't really matter if the system was there or not. Besides, he'd gotten used to the system talking to him and giving him weird power-ups. Since... Oh my god. Since there are still main missions, you should hurry up and assess, said Liu mischievously. Don't get in the way of me completing missions and receiving rewards. The system seemed bemused. Oh, and one more thing, Liu asked. Oh, he's asking? Oh, and one more thing, Liu asked, stammering a little. Can the system see Prince Jing and I when we... When Liu was thinking clearly, he was actually pretty smart, even if his reaction time was a little slow. But he was only just considering this issue. There was no privacy with the system. The system was just a system. Liu wasn't worried about it being awkward, but he was worried about Prince Jing's secrets being stored in the system. Would they end up turning into viral videos? Stupid. So as he was watching or what? So was he watching, quote unquote, watching or italics watching? What? The system had nothing to say. The extremely ridiculous user was kicked out. Liu woke up in a great mood. He lost consciousness every time he entered the system, and this time he'd entered as a merman. When he came to, he was sitting in Prince Jing's arms, carefully protected. The merman form's tail was easily dehydrated, so Liu impatiently turned back into a human. But his timing was a bit off. Originally, his tail had been cutely wrapped around Prince Jing, but when it turned into his legs, it was in a weird position that made his imagination run wild. Liu blushed and lowered his legs from around Prince Jing's waist. His waist? His waist? Okay. Then he looked up to meet Prince Jing's eyes. Prince Jing smiled and touched Liu's face. What's wrong? Liu hugged him and nuzzled up to him, unable to control his happiness. Your Highness, I have good news for you. The duration for my human form has been extended, and after one more tribulation, I can return. It suddenly occurred to him that this explanation wasn't quite right. No matter what progress he'd made with the missions, he was still just a carp spirit to Prince Jing. A carp spirit that would want to turn into a human completely, not return to human form. He couldn't get that wrong. Liu paused and tried again. Next time, if I pass through the next tribulation, I'll be human forever. Prince Jing smiled slightly and nodded. All right, I'll protect you during the next tribulation too. Liu couldn't help but smile. I'm so lucky you're here, Your Highness, he said, and let out a heartful sigh. It was all right if he didn't know it. It was all right even if he had to do one more round of missions. His missions would be complete one day, but he didn't know where he'd be now if not for Prince Jing. Liu scooted over and pulled Prince Jing in. The atmosphere was just right, and the fish was about to kiss him. He exaggeratedly pouted his lips out and kissed Prince Jing's cheek. It was a kiss as light as a feather, making one's heart ripple like water. Prince Jing raised his eyebrows, his lips moving. Did you want to say something, Your Highness? Liu asked. He noticed that Prince Jing's expression was a little different. Prince Jing glanced at him quickly and hesitantly took out a note. He made a random guess, but there really was something. Liu took the note. Guys, you're not ready. Liu took the note. He was curious about what Prince Jing wrote, but he only saw Prince Jing's name, Tianqi, on it. I know your name, Your Highness. Why did His Highness want him to see this? You fucking dumbass. Seeing that he still didn't understand, Prince Jing took Liu's reddened lips into his and bit down softly when he said, Your Highness. Liu, confused as he was teased, said again, Your Highness. Prince Jing sidled up to him before he finished speaking, and Liu got bitten again. Prince Jing hugged him and bit him once more. Liu didn't dare speak anymore and blinked. Was he not allowed to say Your Highness? Was he going to be kissed every time he did? Prince Jing, seeing that he was starting to understand, handed him the note with his name on it again. Liu suddenly got it. No. Are you asking me to call you by your name? Fish calling his name. Prince Jing nodded seriously. He finally got it right. Tears sprang to Liu's eyes. Prince Jing wanted him to call him by his name. This was perfectly normal since they were married now. It seemed a bit distant to be calling him Your Highness all the time. Prince Jing didn't want him to be distant. Then, Tianqi, Liu smiled shyly. Prince Jing's name was quite tasteful, and he couldn't help saying it again after the first time. Tianqi. Prince Jing responded, a smile spreading across his face, and held Liu's hand. It was such a small thing. Why not write it out? Because he wanted Xiao Yu to realize it himself. He didn't want to ask for it. If he could say Chongfeng's name so easily, then why not his too? Why are they like this? I can't deal with them. Oh, they're so gay. Oh, they're so gay. Okay. Yeah. The next chapter is quite long, so I think we'll leave that. I think we'll leave that to the next to next week. But oh my god. What? Oh no. Oh no, the next chapters are really silly. Oh boy. Okay, that's gonna be fun. Next week is gonna be real fun. Because the next chapter is called Fish Babies Write a Letter. Yay, more babies. More babies. Alright. But yeah, we will stop there for today. I don't wanna push it. Not after my vertical attack. I don't really want to push it. So yeah. Oh boy, how you feeling? I'm feeling great. I love them. I love stupid fishy. I love this stupid fish. Alright, but I will see you later. Let's see, what do we have for next week? Next week, I want to play Little Kitty Big City, because I got that. I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna do it. That was so gay. It was pretty gay. It was pretty gay. I can put this down now. It was pretty freaking gay. Apparently, I've never been on the news before, and apparently, sorry. But yeah, that's all. Right. Next week, Little Kitty Big City. Next week, Fishy Friday again. Actually, Fishy Friday, not on Friday. Wait, maybe it will be. Actually, I don't remember. Maybe it will be. We'll see. I'll work that out, and then you can check my Blue Sky for the details. But yeah, the times are gonna be a little weird again, since I am nocturnal now. I woke up at, again, like 7:30 p.m. and fell asleep at like 11 a.m. today, technically. So the timing is a little silly, but maybe we'll go back to 6 a.m. Maybe we'll see. We might go back to 6 a.m. and then get back to 6 p.m. PST. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed this reading today. It was a bit of lore. Not lore, but you know, like Six Prince stuff. That was like a whole chapter of that. So that's that. Yeah. Should we try to raid someone? Should we try that? We never do that. Iron Mouse. No. Hey, let's raid Pupcat. Because they're doing an ASMR stream. If you don't like ASMR, that's fair. But I figure going from cozy to cozy is pretty cozy. But yeah, let's actually raid someone finally, and during a reading stream. We're gonna raid Pupcats. Start raid. But yeah, thank you for being here. I'll see you next Friday. Stay safe and wear a mask. Yippee! Right now, go say hi. Brr, brr, brr.